All right. Good morning or afternoon or whatever it is where you're at. Welcome to the Charlie Greer podcast. If you like, please, like, share, and subscribe. If you want to support the channel, in the description, Zelle, you know how to do it. Uh, Hook me up. Yeah. Anyways, today I am an artist. I live an artist's life. So, actually, I've got my shirt here, Bob Ross, Happy Trees, love Bob. So an artist's life, what is that you say? Anyway, you under the umbrella of an artist, uh, musician, writer, painter, actor. I mean, I've done a lot, and I suggest you do too. But as an artist, sometimes it's rough. Sometimes people don't want to. You have to explain what you're doing, all this other stuff. But I knew when I was young. I knew I love to draw. I love to. I love music. Um, I knew what I was going to do. And then when I got in my teens, I knew I was going to have to live an artist's life, meaning I'd have to not, the normal pencil pusher, jobber, 9 to 5 kind of thing, which is cool. Hey, I'm not pointing a finger at that because there's people. I mean, not everybody's the same. There's morning people, there's night people. The world has to go around. You know what I mean? Just think if we were all the same. Just think if you had to eat the same food over and over and around, you'd go crazy. So I knew that I'd have to sacrifice like not buying a house, not I wanted to travel. I wanted to live different places. And that's the kind of sacrifice that I had to do is follow through with my art. And again, the follow through, you got to stick to your guns. You got to have faith. You got to have confidence. And what other people think about you is none of your business, man. Let them. Matter of fact, you're on the right track when you got all this going on. You're doing good. You're you're doing good. Um, Over and over in my career, I've had people doubters, only the doubters, and they kind of get rude about. I've always kept my cool, even after the fact. I have a lot of foresight. See, I realize okay, and then I used to play a lot of pool, snooker. If I do this, then I have to do that, and that'll happen. I live my life that way as well. But you gotta, again, you're on the right track if you're getting basically attacked or made fun of. For example, when I was in like my first band, and I'm not going to name names or whatever. So we were playing a talent show of all things. Young, we were in our teens, and I'd never. It was in a club, and I don't even think I've been in a club that nice or that big before. So we get up there, we do our thing, and they have like this is before American Idol, but on the top legs they had like these judges that were all, from other bands. Okay, um, they gave us a zero. Like there was 4 of them, like 3 or 4, maybe 5. Zero across with 0, 0, 0. And I remember standing, you had to stand on stage, and they're like, ha ha ha. And it was brutal. But I knew I was like, something ain't right here. And they put a fire underneath me. So yeah, they, zero. We didn't even get a score. Okay. Cut to about a year later, maybe a little bit longer than a year. I was in my other band that I started. All those people were asking to open for my band, and I let them. Yeah, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna hold grudges and all this. Hey, cool. You want to play? Fine, let's do it. Friday night, come on in. We'll even give you a sound check. And then one of the judges, the band that I was in, that I left, he joined that band. He became the drummer of that band. So it's like you just never know. And I'm not making fun of anybody, but this is the truth. You got to have the follow through. Believe in yourself. Do what you're going to do. And at first, you might not even be that good. you might, you know, nobody starts out as Van Gogh, okay? Except Van Gogh, I guess. But you have to do the follow through, believe, hold steady. Don't listen to all the whatever, because you're gonna again, and then when you start succeeding, well, he just got lucky. Well, he did it. You're gonna hear all that stuff. Matter of fact, you know you're on the right track when you start getting. Because see, a lot of people in the entertainment industry hate competition. They don't like the level playing field, right? They just no, no. When you start getting intimidating or threatened, or that, you know you're doing the right thing. So just keep doing what you're doing. Don't let other people harsh your mellow. I when I started painting, because I studied art at Parkland College in Champaign for like a year, and I'd been painting all my life and drawing and stuff. And then when I moved to when I got my band mode, I didn't do that much. I mean, at home I would fiddle around, but wasn't like in artist painting mode where you're like making pieces, a lot of them. And so I by the time I got to Los Angeles, my first real art show, because I'd hung in coffee shops, whatever, was at the NoHo Art District, and that was in 2003, I think. And it was a group show, and they're like, how much are your paintings? And I was kind of, I don't know. Like, well, the minimum it's like 100. You have to put 100. So I think I had like 2 or 3 paintings in the show, and they sold. I was like, wow, hey. So I think it was the next show. Was it the next week or maybe the next night? Like, have you got any more paintings? I'm like, yeah, I do. Well, now they're going to be 300. Okay. So you just follow through, and then, and I did a lot of shows. Another thing about art shows, like the downtown LA art area galleries, like the Cannibal Flower, which is amazing. I don't know if they're still doing it, but and I forgot the guy's name. I'm sorry. It's like a big group show. It's huge. They don't have a gallery. Maybe they do now, but they just like rent other galleries and be a huge show. It'd be 100 art, big galleries, and they'd have bands and fire, spitting fire, everything. And so what you have to do is, and they kind of break it down to you, like, look, you're starting off, you're not even on the flyer, okay? You're just another guy in the group show. And they have like flyers and and then they'll have like the main artist, and then another, and then they might list some. So my goal was, man, just get me on that fly, like the lower, which I did. It took me about a year. And then you just move yourself up. Next thing you know, you're the featured artist, and have faith. Rome wasn't built in a day. Keep doing your art. Attract like minds. Try to be, birds of a feather stick together, my grandmother used to say, and she's right. And you attract what you are. Like attracts like, the law of attraction. I mean, there's certain instances, but a bank robber ain't going to be hanging out with an honest man unless he's his brother or something, like, you know what I'm saying? You have to attract what you want. Again, I said, thoughts become things. Think in your mind what you want to do. There's going to be some bumps. Nobody's exempt from that. Okay. You have to follow through in your mind, in your heart, in your soul. Like I've curated a lot of shows. When I was working at the Abbott's Habit, both of them in Venice and on Sunset in Hollywood, I was curating both shows. But it was too much work because I was working there too. And then I'd have to drive, from Hollywood to Venice with the traffic. And then it just, I couldn't do it. But I got to the point where I was getting bigger shows. I've hung at Bonham and Butterfields. I've hung in a Fusion Gallery. And also again, let's switch to my book. I have a book out called Rand of the Madman. You can go to Google, Rand of the Madman by Charlie Greer. And I used to do book signings at first when it first came out, like 2000. It's weird. It's been out like 19 years. Next year will be 20 years of my book now. And just to give you a little bit of info, it's kind of heartbreaking, whatever, but I've never been paid for never got one in 19 years, never got paid for my book. And you think, well, get a lawyer. And this, I have, believe me, and I would, unfortunately, I used like a self-promotion company or self-publishing company, like a co-op. It's like, okay, you pay for this, we'll pay for certain things, which is cool. I've done that with my music as well. And, but I've done shows like, group book signing shows, where everybody there, this was in Burbank. I did one, and I at the time, I honestly was so busy that I wasn't promoting, you know what I mean? Like other people, had flyers, and I showed up. And there were people there that had like big book advances, like they had deals, right? And they also wrote for like TV shows. They like worked at the studios, this, that, and the other. And I sold the most books. They couldn't give away their book. I sold out. It might have been that night that Ray Bradbury showed up. Ray friggin' Bradbury, okay? Want to see me. Hey, what? How did you hear about me? He's got his finger on the pulse. And he, at the time, was living in Burbank. And his books, I mean, they sell, but his bread and butter money was writing on shows or helping, what do they call that? Like touch stuff up or whatever. And I remember the other writers were like, how the hell did you? And I was like, I didn't. I don't know Ray Bradbury. Like, huh? It just happened. Again, thoughts become things. You're thinking positive. You're on your path. It will happen. I do own the movie rights to my book, and because I haven't done anything with my book, I but back around 2007, 2008, 2009, I had I wouldn't say a producer, but I had someone, we had made a packet, matter of fact, a DVD and all this stuff, so I could do a presentation. And I've had 2 or 3 people represent me to, like, it's called an option. You want to option your movie. And what that is you can sell it for a screenplay. It's an option. Once it goes into production, you might get more money. It depends. Maybe you buy out. You never know. But one of the first kind of bigger ones was I met this producer, and honestly, I don't even remember what was going, this, that, and the other. And I gave her the packet and the book, and she's like, look, I'm going to Manhattan, this, that, and the other. I'll contact you. Later that night, I get a phone call, and it's her. And she's like, oh my God, you're a genius. This book is amazing. I love it. Why didn't you tell me? Hey, cool. We're doing business. So I would meet her. It was on Santa Monica. I forgot that it's a movie studio, but it's one of the older ones, and it's been changed names, but it's right. Like if where the Formosa is, it's across the street on the same side as where I forgot what they call that, whatever it is. And she had an office in there. So I would go and we'd meet like once a week, and the strategy, we're going to say that. And then I was kind of moving. You have to go through certain channels. And then we got, and this is not the first time this happened. We got to the main people, the executives, the money people, people that can make you change your life. And she warned me. She's like, look, I don't want them to see you just yet. Like, I got too much will. I'm not going to let anybody, I'm not a pawn in it, so. I mean, I know how to keep my mouth shut. I'm not about self-sabotage, but it's just there's certain things that I won't do. And once you start doing certain things, you got to continually do them. That's the rub. It isn't like I'm doing it once and I'm done. No, you got to do more stuff and keep it up. Keep on doing what I tell you. I can't do that. But she told me, she warned me. She's like, look, we might have some problem. And one of them was even her brother. She's like, even though he's my brother, they're tough, And in the packet, it had pictures of me. There was a DVD they could play promotion. So she didn't. Uh, they didn't like it. Matter of fact, I was supposed to meet her. We had a time. She's like, "Hey, the meeting's at 3. Be at my office at 5." So I was, and I'm all like, "Yeah, come on, here we go." Ooh, option. Uh, I went into the lobby. Usually they would let me ride in Buzz. I didn't have to. I get there, and there's like security there, like security. And they're basically like, "Look, man, I hate to do it, but you can't come in. She's not gonna." I go, "What happened?" I mean, I knew. Matter of fact, I've never talked to her again. And I didn't get my. I go, "Can I at least get my?" She had promotion packages, like a stack of DVDs and all this art, like promotional stuff. No, you'll have to talk to her, and those are things that are going to happen. At least the way in my mind, it's like at least I got there. I'm a hillbilly from Smithville, Tennessee, man. 1,500, 2,000 people there when I was born. I'm from basically nothing. All right. I had to work like 100 times harder for something that someone else just gave away, just didn't even care for. That's another thing. You might have to work a little harder than others. But keep in your mind that you're doing good things. And then these things happen. You're just going to have to get over, like what did Forbes say? You just got to fail until you succeed. Another time I was, I'd written a script, and I had a producer. He's a great guy. I don't know if I should name names. We still talk, and he's an awesome dude and a believer in me, and a really talented guy. Like he and I kind of like, we did a lot of great stuff, but it's tough. So we would meet. There was a coffee bean and tea leaf on Melrose, and that's where we would meet people, because he was pitching my script, and we were either trying to get like an option, or we were also meeting people with like money, just to finance, or give us $5 million, we'll make this movie or thing. So we were meeting with. I will say that because I'm a fan of this guy. So what happens is you meet with. It's called a reader. These people read a lot of scripts. They'll work for a production company or director, produce, whatever. And then that has to go through the reader. Then once the reader goes through all of what they're like, hey, these are good. So we were meeting with the reader from Oliver Stone's production company. And I forgot the name of his production company. I love Oliver Stone. So we meet her on Melrose at the Coffee Bean and Tea. And at first she's cool. Like, hey, yeah, oh my God, you're so talented. Yeah. So she's like, okay, she read the treatment. So first you get like a treatment, which is like a 1-page synopsis of the script, because we're handing her a 90-page script. She can't sit there and read. So she read, oh yeah, I kind of know that I'm going to be getting the meat and bones of the script. And at the time we had a buzz going on. So it was great. So I think it's the next week we're meeting her. And she shows up late. She is on a rampage. I mean, she scolds us both. Like, not only is it bad, you wasted my time. Oh my God, is that and the other? And we're just like, what? We kind of laughed it off because we'd already been through some things like this, but we're disappointed. Like, we're both Oliver Stone fans. And so, no big deal. Fine. We don't, hey, if you don't like, fine, that's okay. It's okay. That's cool. We're going to keep on doing it. So it might have been a month later, maybe it was right after this happened. Again, we would meet people at this Coffee Bean and Tea on Melrose, because it's Melrose, man. It's back then it was not everybody going around. Cool. And we're right on the outside patio. And there's other business Hollywood stuff going on. You want to be seen. I know it's kind of douchebaggery, but whatever. It is what it is. So she had turned us down. And we were meeting with someone else. I forgot who they were. Another, might have been a financier. It might have been a reader. I don't know. So we're meeting with them. And I corner my eye, I see her coming. And I'm like, oh no, I hope she didn't like sabotage this meeting, right? And now she is switched. She sees me. She comes up. Oh my God, Charlie. And kneels And it's like, please give me a job. They fired me from the other place, Oliver Stone's production company. I got fired. She didn't explain why. Please give me a job. And I go, well, one, I'm not in any position to give you a job. I mean, I'm struggling here. I have a little apartment, and it's okay. I have a little apartment. We haven't even done an option yet. We don't have, you know what I mean? We're spending all of our money, and huh? And two, you came after us, talking about that, So you never know. Moral of the story: here she is. Oh no, it's great, it's great. Meet her again. Oh, how dare you guys even waste my time? Then please give me a job. Wrap your head around that. So you have to follow through. You have to be like a stone. Again, you can't be ignorant and mean to people and this, that, and the other thing. But when you know you're on the right path, just keep doing what you're doing. We got to pitch Band Apart, which is Quentin Tarantino and I think the guy's name Lawrence Bender. So Band Apart is the production company that does all or used to, I don't know, Quentin Tarantino's movies. And I think that was on 3rd Street in Beverly Hills, his office. I think it was 3rd Street. Anyway, we get there and it's cool. And they like what we're doing. And I had to sign it's weird, through the Writers Guild of America, it's a solicitation laws. Like you just can't go in, you know what I mean? Like you have to sign, okay, we're allowing you to accept this. You have to sign, it's all legalities that honestly I didn't understand at the time, but I get it. And it was positive, man. A great day. But then at the end of the meeting, she's like, okay, don't get your hopes up because we like the script. We haven't optioned it yet, but we're interested. And she took me down the hall and they opened up this door and she took the script and she goes, these are the other things that we like. And she basically threw it on a mound of endless scripts. I mean, there was a shelf on there that was bent, like just so many scripts. And these are the ones that they like, they're interested in. And I just kind of like, wah, 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 wah. Like what in the world? They'll never take them 1,000 years to read all those scripts. But hey, I climbed that mountain. I got to pitch Band Apart. Quentin Tarantino's, huh? What? And so we never, again, I never heard from them. Maybe they haven't got to the script. Maybe they still have readers. It was a lot of them, a lot of scripts. Moral of the story is you have to continue. And also, we never did option anything. But this is a strange thing. Now there is renewed interest in that stuff. I hadn't thought about it. I hadn't done anything. And then I get a call and I'm like, huh? And I can't mention who's, but it's cool. If it happens, it happens. Whatever. I don't write scripts anymore, and I don't. I mean, technically, I still have a couple scripts that I could sell. I mean, but follow through. Keep doing what you're doing. With my acting, so I'm in the Screen Actors Guild. I joined the Screen Actors Guild in I think 96, 98, somewhere around there. And there were a lot of times where you're on auditions and you nail it. Because what you want to do is you want to go off sides. Sides are the little, because you don't get the whole script. You get like the sides, like maybe a paragraph that you have to audition for. And then there's callbacks. Once they like you, then you have to, it might take a week, it might take a long time, and then you don't even get it. But there's been times where I always went off script or off the sides. I wasn't standing there with a piece of paper like, because what happened is when I would go to I moved to LA and I was in these casting houses, I wouldn't see these guys audition. I would hear them because everybody's going into the doorway, and you're outside in the hallway waiting. And I could hear how bad people were and how they all sound the same. And then somebody go in there and they like, man, he sounded so relaxed and his choices. And it was like, oh, wow. And so what are you doing? How did you do this? And a lot of guys blew me off. And one person like, hey, I studied with Eric Morris. And I'll do an episode about Eric. But I started studying with Eric Morris, and it was expensive. It was more than my rent at the time. But it really it got me to where I was going. I learned about my breathing and how to relax. And sense memory techniques. But you go to these auditions and you nail them. Sometimes I would even spend my own money and get in the character. I might buy clothes or whatever I had to do, and um, just to look like, uh, and always off script, up to the point where I just go in like, "You need a script? No, I'm ready to go." Nail it. And his eyes are too blue. His feet are too big. Has nothing to do with. Matter of fact, it's on the corner of Highland and Fountain. Um, there's a building there. I forget. It's a casting house. It's probably changed names, but it's there. So I don't know if they were producers or not, but the director guy loved me. Like he's the one. Um, they started arguing about certain. Like, hey, that had that, and I by then I turned around, walked out, got about 10 feet, and realized, oh wait a minute, I forgot my road case. I've got a road case briefcase. So I went back and I opened the door, and they were arguing. The guy was standing up for me, and they're like, "What do you should let?" And I go, "Oh, I forgot my brief. Sorry." And I never did get I didn't get the role. But then there's other times where I didn't even have to audition. Like someone said, "Oh yeah, here you go, Charlie." Bam, not have to audition, get the work. One of the I had a really major audition for a big. I'm not going to say his name, but it was the only time that I'd had a mansion audition. Like you get to certain levels, and then it's like, and this guy he's a big player. Come to his mansion, and I had a friend who is in casting, and she kind of got me the audition, and I go there, and he's got productions assistants, this, that, and the other, and it's nice. I mean, the living room we're in, like this huge bay window, you can see the curve of the earth, all of LA, amazing. And so I sit down, and they're like, okay, first things first, we need to watch you eat. Well, first they're like, okay, the audition process is going to start. And then they brought all those food. We got to watch you eat. And the strange thing, they had like salads and like crunchy potato chip, And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, no, eat. And there was a lot of people. The director was in front of me, and then had this, that, these people, and they're little, it's just. So I wasn't hungry. I mean, that's the last thing when you're on. Okay, I'm eating. Don't be just kind of, okay, now we got to see you drink. I'm like, yeah, I was drinking water. No. We want to booze you up a bit. I was like, I'd rather not. I just ate that food. No, this is a major part of the process. So I had brought out beer, and I was drinking beers, and we're just talking, hanging out. And then he's like, okay, cool. Okay, you passed. And this is the director guy telling me, the producer director guy. And he goes, look, I'm sorry I had to put you through that, but I have this thing about people chewing, and it'll drive me crazy. And if you get the role, minimum 6 months around you almost every day, and it might take, no, I can't do it. And drinking. I want to see how you hold your booze, And I thought that was smart. I'm like, that's I've never done that before, but maybe would I be that way? I mean, you don't want somebody, to drive you nuts. People have their little, things. Some people, drink one beer and, they needed to. And, but unfortunately for me, the role was, and these are the toughest, like it's a real person. Like I had to play this character, and he's still alive. So you have to look like the person. I look nothing like him. I mean, they put a hat on me and try to make me, but they liked me. And I was leaving. Another actor was passed by me, and I said, hey, break a leg. And I go, you know what, man? You're probably going to get this role because you look like that dude. And he's like, thanks. Nobody ever said. And they saw me do that, and they're like, oh, great. Try it. And it's all good. I mean, maybe I wouldn't write for that one, but later on down the road, you never know. Again, keep doing what you're doing. I'm going to keep doing what I'm. You have to be honest with yourself about what you want to do. You can let other people's opinions dictate your life. I mean, think about that, man. Other people that most of the time, and again, this is another people that are like that usually don't have any accomplishments. And I'm not trying to point the finger, but a lot of times when people were, making fun of me or this, that, and the other, had never really accomplished anything. Or if they did, they were like a crony. Like, well, the reason I got this job is because my buddy from college got it and they hired me. And you know what I mean? Like I get it. Matter of fact, I'm not even against nepotism, as long as if I'm involved, I get it. But you have to make the decision what you're going to do. It's simple. Like you want to be happy. You don't want to be. If you do your art, uh, just hang in there because you will succeed. Anything you set your mind to, you will succeed. I love being an artist. I love having that open mind. I love creating, playing guitar, just playing guitar. And there's a different kind of artists. There's people that cook. There's people that, carpenters, and there's things that aren't necessarily they don't classify as artists, but they are, believe me. Landscapers, even business people. If you have an artistic flair, you're going to do better. In Hollywood, for sales jobs, they'll put in the act looking for people for work, looking for actors, artists, because they know that they have a little something, something that others might not. When I worked in Hollywood, I did a lot of sales and licensing. In fact, I will do an episode soon about when I was a photo editor at Shooting Star, and that's owned by Yorm Kahana, who basically, well, he bless his heart, he passed a year or so ago, but I learned so much from Yorm. He basically owned the Golden Globes, the foreign press, whatever. And a great guy, great man, really helped me out. An artist, a true artist. But I hope you learned a little bit. Take a page out of my book. Even if you're not doing art, just go to the dollar store. They sell little canvases and acrylic paints and some brushes. Spend $5 or $10 and just start doing your art. It'll make you feel better. Just use bright colors, abstract art. Just slap something on there. And again, if you like what you're seeing, like, share, subscribe. If you want to support the channel, in the description, it's Zelle. You can send what you want through there. And this is what I'm doing. So, honestly, I do need, support. I do need sponsorships and stuff like that, which will come, my friend, I know. But again, be blessed, y'all. I love you. And we'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.